Well, folks, the stock market's having a normal one. By normal, I mean it's doing what it does best, keeping us all on our toes, by which I mean it's plummeting faster than a pigeon trying to land on a freshly cleaned statue. You know, the kind of nosedive that makes you question your life choices. It's the worst sell-off of the year, and everyone's running around like their pants are on fire. The chaos is palpable, and the fear is almost contagious. Except, of course, for Tom Lee. Tom's the calm in the storm, the eye of the hurricane. Tom's the head honcho over at Fundstrat, and he's here to tell us, don't worry, your 401k is probably going to be fine. He's like the financial world's version of a reassuring parent. See, Tom's a bit of a contrarian. He thrives on going against the grain. When everyone else is selling, he's buying. It's like he's playing a different game altogether. And right now, with everyone panicking like a toddler who dropped their ice cream cone, Tom's feeling pretty bullish. He's the calm man in a chaotic environment. Why? Because according to him, all this fear and loathing, it's a sign that things are about to get better. It's like the dawn after a long, dark night. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, but personally, I find it comforting when someone tells me that mass hysteria is a good thing for my investments. It's like finding a silver lining in a storm cloud. It's like saying, sure, the Titanic's sinking, but trust me, the lifeboats are going to be awesome. So hang tight, folks. Maybe, just maybe, there's a lifeboat with our name on it. So, what's got Tom so chipper while the rest of us are stocking up on canned goods, toilet paper, and other essentials? And why are we learning how to barter for essential commodities like it's the end of the world? Well, it's all about cash, baby. Cold, hard cash. You see, according to Tom, there's a whole heap of money just sitting on the sidelines right now, not being used. Investors are scared, they're pulling their money out of the market, and they're holding on to it tightly. And it's all just gathering dust, waiting for the right moment to jump back in. It's like a coiled spring, ready to bounce. And when those investors see that, despite all the doom and gloom, the world hasn't actually ended and life goes on, well, they're going to want to put that money to work. They'll be eager to invest again. It's like when you go to the grocery store after a snowstorm and the shelves are empty, except for a single, slightly bruised banana. Suddenly that banana looks pretty darn appealing, and you realize you really want that banana. The same principle applies to stocks, apparently. When the market is down and everything looks bleak, the opportunities become even more attractive to those who are ready to invest. Now you might be thinking, okay, but what about consumer confidence? How does it fit into this whole picture of economic uncertainty and political turmoil? Isn't that at an all-time low? With stores closing and malls empty, it sure feels like it, and you'd be right. People are feeling pretty pessimistic about the economy right now. The news is filled with stories of financial instability, and it's hard not to feel anxious. But Tom Lee, ever the optimist, has an explanation for that too. Politics. He believes that our political views heavily influence how we perceive the economy. That's right, according to Tom, those consumer confidence surveys are about as reliable as a weather forecast from a groundhog wearing a monocle. They can be amusing but not always accurate. They're all skewed by people's political leanings. Our political affiliations color our perceptions of economic reality. Don't believe me? Just look at the data. It's fascinating to see how divided we are. When you break down consumer confidence by political affiliation, you see a huge discrepancy. The numbers tell a story of two very different Americas. Democrats are feeling pretty glum, while Republicans are over the moon. It's almost as if they're experiencing two different economies. It's enough to make you wonder if they're even living in the same country, let alone looking at the same economic indicators. The divide is stark and telling. Section 4, Fundstrat says. Deportation? But wait, there's more. Fundstrat, the aforementioned company that Tom Lee runs, decided to do a little survey of their own. They asked their clients what they saw as the biggest risk to the market. And guess what? The number one answer wasn't inflation, or a recession, or even a meteor strike, it was deportation. Yes, you heard that right, deportation. Now, I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. But it does make you wonder what kind of conversations are happening around the water cooler at Fundstrat. Section 5, riding the roller coaster, finding stability in volatility. So where does that leave us? Well, according to Tom Lee, still on track for a market rebound. He says, ignore the noise, tune out the political grandstanding, and focus on the fundamentals. Look for companies with strong earnings, solid balance sheets, and a business model that can weather any storm. Think of it like riding a roller coaster. Sure, it's a wild ride and there are going to be ups and downs, but if you can stomach the drops and keep your hands and feet inside the car at all times, you'll eventually make it back to the station, maybe even with a slightly better tan.